Welcome to the deep dive. So today we are tackling one of those really tough, universal human things.
Mm.
What on earth do you do with an emotion you really, really don't want to feel?
Yeah, it's like that internal battle, isn't it? That moment anxiety flares up, or maybe shame washes over you, and every instinct just screams, run, or, suppress it, distract yourself somehow.
Exactly. We treat them like, I don't know, invaders, things to be kicked out immediately.
We absolutely do. It's wired into us.
And I bet you, listening right now, you have your go-to avoidance tactics. Maybe it's grabbing your phone, scrolling endlessly, or maybe opening the fridge, or just burying yourself in work. Anything for the fastest escape.
And that need for speed, that's actually the crux of our deep dive today. We've been looking at some really interesting ideas from Gal Gaia Carmel. She works a lot on emotional processing.
Right.
And her take on this is, well, it's pretty radically counterintuitive.
Okay, so that's our mission then. Let's unpack this, because the source material argues that our usual strategy, the one we think is quickest avoidance, it's actually the slowest way out. It just drags out the misery.
It really does. And there's a practical alternative offered. It definitely takes some courage, but the promise is genuine, swift relief.
So what's the big idea, the core thesis?
Okay, get this. If you want that unpleasant feeling to actually leave, you kind of have to invite it in first.
Invite it in.
Yeah, stop fighting it, turn towards it, and the phrase used is actively go through it.
Okay, wait. Just feel your feelings. I mean, we hear that everywhere, right?
Yeah.
It can be a bit fluffy, like generic advice.
I know what you mean.
Because if I'm sitting here feeling anxious, and I just say, okay, I'm feeling my anxiety, my mind immediately starts racing. Like, why am I anxious? What's causing it? How is this different from just, getting stuck in my head about the feeling?
That's a really important distinction, and the source material addresses that directly. That whole process you described, analyzing the why, spinning mental stories, that's actually seen as a very sophisticated kind of avoidance.
Ah, okay. So thinking about it isn't the same as feeling it.
Not at all. You're using your mind to engage with the story around the emotion, not using your body to actually engage with the raw sensation of it.
Okay, that makes sense. So if thinking about it is intellectual avoidance, what's the active path? The source gives practical steps, right? The mechanism.
Exactly. The goal is to separate the narrative, the story we tell ourselves, from the actual physical sensation, the raw data the emotion generates in the body. And Carmel's work outlines basically 2 key steps to get out of your head and into your body.
All right, lay it on us. What's step 1? I have a feeling it's a tough one.
It probably is initially. It's the committed pause.
Okay.
When that wave hits dread, anger, whatever it is, the very first thing is you have to consciously stop trying to escape. You actually take a moment to pause with the feeling.
So you resist grabbing the phone or the snack or jumping into that internal debate.
Precisely. It's an active choice. Stillness, right when everything in you wants to flee. It's about making a commitment, even for a second, to just stay.
Wow. Yeah, that initial resistance feels huge. Choosing to stand there in the emotional fire, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you, the listener, you manage that. You commit to the pause. You stop running. What's next? How do you stop yourself from just snapping back into the mental stories?
Good question. The second step, and this is really the core of it, is radical awareness of the body. You commit to being present with all the sensations that it raises in our body.
Oh, it's a sensation.
Yeah. You deliberately shift your focus away from the thought, like, I'm a failure, and directly onto the physical data. Like, okay, I feel this intense tightness in my chest, or there's a hollow feeling in my stomach, or my hands are tingling.
So it's not about analyzing why you feel sad. It's about noticing the physical heaviness in your limbs.
Exactly. Think of yourself like a neutral observer, like a scientist observing data. You wouldn't judge the data point, right? You just note it. What is it? Where is it? How intense is it?
Like a weather reporter for your internal state.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, you're not judging the storm, just describing its characteristics.
Yeah.
If it's anxiety, you notice the shallow breath, the racing heart, the tension in your shoulders, without getting caught up in the what-ifs that fuel it.
Okay, so focusing purely on the physical stuff bypasses the judging, fixing part of the brain.
That's the idea. You sidestep the part that wants to suppress or rationalize.
And this is where it clicks for me, maybe. Because suppression, or trying to think our way out of it, that's about control, isn't it? We're trying to manage the feeling. But just observing the physical sensation, you can't really control a knot in your stomach. You can only notice it's there. It feels more like surrender to what is.
Exactly right. And that neutral observation, that allowing it to be there, is apparently the key. Emotions at their root are physiological energy. They need to move. When we resist with our minds, we trap that energy.
Right.
But when we just neutrally watch the physical side, the heat, the pressure, the emptiness, we allow that energy to actually complete its natural cycle and, well, dissipate.
Okay, this brings us back to the big question. If this is hard, if it requires facing discomfort head-on, why choose this path over the seemingly easier one of numbing or distracting?
Right. Why the discomfort?
Yeah. And the answer, according to the source, comes down to time, doesn't it?
Time is the absolute key benefit here. We avoid feeling intensely because we fear it'll last forever, right?
Absolutely.
But the source material argues the exact opposite. When we actually allow ourselves to fully feel the emotion, consent to let it pass through us, the whole process passes much faster.
Faster, really.
Much faster. The direct route might feel intense, yes, but it's incredibly efficient.
So you're saying it's like maybe a few minutes of really feeling that knot in your stomach versus potentially hours or even days of that low-grade background hum of anxiety or sadness that we carry around when we suppress.
That's the emotional map the source presents. That period when we suppress, when we put the feelings aside, it's called the time of repression. And that time can take much more time.
Wow.
You might get that quick hit of relief from distraction, sure, but you're basically putting the emotion on layaway. Or maybe like taking on emotional debt.
Emotional debt, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you haven't paid it off, you've just deferred the payment, and it's accruing interest in the background.
Exactly. It doesn't just vanish. That shame, that resentment, whatever it is, it's still there. It subtly influences your mood, your sleep, your choices, just simmering.
Waiting for the bill to come due, maybe bigger than before.
Precisely. So the time you spend actively avoiding the feeling and all the energy that takes, it ends up being way longer than the time it would take to just engage with it directly, observe the physical sensations, and let it release.
You trade that short, sharp shock of feeling the tightness in your chest for maybe days of feeling vaguely off and needing constant vigilance to keep it buried.
That's the trade-off described.
So, okay, let's bring this home for you, the listener. We've pulled this framework from Gal Gaia Carmel's work, and it seems to offer a pretty clear, though challenging path.
Yeah.
If you want real emotional resolution, the fastest way isn't avoidance.
No. It's about leaning into the physical, immediate experience of the feeling itself. Stop the running, pause, and shift focus to the body.
It's a transaction then.
Mm-hmm.
You accept that short burst of physical intensity.
The pressure, the heat, the ache,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
In exchange for actual, swift emotional freedom, the moment you switch from the mental story to the bodily sensation, you're hitting the accelerator on release.
That's the claim. You're speeding up its departure by simply observing its presence.
Which leads us to a final thought to maybe chew on, something that comes out of this whole approach. If truly feeling an emotion, just being present with its physical sensations until it passes, is the fastest way for it to leave, does that change how we should even think about these feelings? Are they really unpleasant intruders we need to fight? Or are they maybe more like, I don't know, necessary processes, just energy signals waiting for our neutral observation so they can move on?
That's interesting. If the goal is speed and eventual peace, perhaps the only truly unpleasant part isn't the feeling itself, but our resistance to feeling it.
Something to consider next time you feel that urge to run. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
See you next time.